to Over Tea on Colour. My name's Janet Best. Today we're in Bharat Tex in India, and we're going to be looking at white, one of the most commercial colours used by every brand in the world. So with me today, I have Doug Bynum from natific. Doug, could you just introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Doug Bynum. I am senior partner in natific, and pleased to be here at Bharat Tex this week. And we're meeting with a lot of our local clients, and we have with us today Kotresh. So Kotresh, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Bynum. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for having me. I'm Kotresh. I'm heading the color department for Indian subcontinent for PVH brands, Calvin Klein product. So good to be here, and good to meet you guys again.
Okay.
Let's talk about white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kotresh, white colours. Colours seem to have made amazing progress.
Yeah.
But white seems to be the last colour that can be resolved more quickly and more easily. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges you had in the past?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, white color looks quite easy, but it's very difficult to to maintain it or to have a consistency across the the dye lot, subsequent dye lot, basically. So we are facing a lot of challenges basically on the matching the whites, right white on the tint values or on the indices, whiteness indices. So I think natific is come up with a big, great solution of adding few more elements into it, and I think Doug is here to help us, adding these points and helping us in improving the white.
Okay, so using natific's whiteness program, it's improved.
Yeah.
Doug, can you just tell us a little bit about where we were and what natific has done to make whiteness more achievable and better?
Yeah, I mean, Janet, I'll be glad to speak to it. Back when we really first started looking at this problem, and we talked with the industry. We were working with hundreds of mills globally, and whites always came up. At our support site, we got more requests for assistance on whites than anything. So we knew that optical bright whites were a challenge in color matching at the mills. It wasn't just for one brand client; it was for everyone. So we started looking at it, and Andreas worked with one of our brand clients to look at the possibility to develop an additional algorithm methodology to assess an optically bright white, so that it would give more feedback to the suppliers and also to the brands on if the white's not on shade, then how do we need to correct it? What can we do to correct it? Mm-hmm. So after a year or so work, we came up with the natific whiteness indices, which it takes the traditional CIE whiteness index and the traditional CIE tint values, which are the same. And then we also added to that, we added additional indices, which number one, which seems to be the most challenging for most mills, is the intrinsic shade of the optical brightener.
Yeah.
And we see the inability to select the proper shade, intrinsic shade optical brightener, as remaining one of the big issues. And we've educated a lot of companies, but that's still a big issue and a training opportunity. So the other thing we've got is the fluorescence index. That tells us, of course, how fluorescent or not fluorescent it compares to the color standard. Then we have the bluing index, which tells us if there has been any bluing dye stuff added in the bleaching process to help and try to boost the CIE whiteness. So we've got CIE whiteness, we've got tint, we've got the bluing index, we've got the intrinsic shade of the optical brightener, and then we've got the fluorescence value. We've also done some work in the last year or so on adding a shading index, and this is where people add shading dye stuffs to shade optical brighteners that are not the proper intrinsic shade for that white. So we found that there was a small percentage of whites that we needed to add this to compensate for that. So the goal and the intent was to give feedback and ASAP QC Express Color Warehouse, give feedback automatically to the supply chain and to the brands where that white is off shade, where the adjustment needs to be made. Is it in the base white? Is it in the intrinsic shade of the optical? Do they need to add more optical or take some of the optical brightener out to adjust the fluorescence? So with that capability and with those systematic comments, we've had good feedback. With the natific whiteness delta E, which is a combination of all of those, then what it's been able to do is enabled us to give a numerical value that can be a pass or fail that will correlate with visual assessment of white in the light box. And that's what was missing, because with only CIA whiteness intent in the initial development, there was not enough information there to make a sound decision and to have visual correlations. So that's just an example of what we did to help, both PVH and other brands that we work with. But
Yeah, I think.
have you seen improvements in the lab dips on whites over the last
Yeah, absolutely.
3 or 4 years?
Yeah. Now the approach is quite refined, and as you said about the 5 elements, which we never used to look at it, right? So we used to use the basic whiteness and tint we used to work on. So now, with the help of natific, I think we are checking the one which is never been checked in the industry earlier, right? So now the mill vendor will be knowing where exactly they're going wrong. So where they can correct the color and correct that issue and come back to the original standard. I think this is really a good whiteness project what you did. I think it is helping a lot.
Well, and we appreciate all the feedback from PVH, over the years and the actual implementation and use of the indices to help support the white color approval. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, and your white warehouse is really working amazing. We can click of a button, we can download all the whites we are doing across the globe for PVH, right? So we know where exactly we need to go and we figure it out and how to correct it and how to get back those issues back on the track. It's quite simple. It's quite easy.
I've got one additional question for you. Do you have any feeling for improvements in consistency of whites, like from different suppliers? Is the overall whiteness more consistent, between different suppliers, and then lot to lot consistency from the same supplier?
Yeah, it's a great question, but we are actually facing an issue of the consistency because of the finishes. Only few finishes.
Finishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, yes, we could still able to manage and keep the consistency across. Whatever the basic finishes are there, yes, we could able to easily do it.
Okay.
Only on the special finishes where you need to have an extra soft hand. In those cases only, I think we have a bit of challenges. I think,
Shade change in finishing, during finishing.
During finishing.
Okay.
But yes, they could able to finish, achieve the color before finishing.
Okay.
But when they apply those chemicals, which is highly concentrated, so that's where we are facing the problem. But I think, with the help of natific, probably we can take care of that as well.
Very good. Yeah. It's a great story.
So, Doug, thank you for explaining the background technology into the algorithms.
Really?
And thank you for talking about the issues and the solutions that are working for you now.
Right,
and it's great we've come from 2 indices that really were a step in the right direction, but weren't the complete solution. We've now got 5 indices.
Yeah.
So much more information about fluorescence and all the special things that happen in whites, and a single figure delta E. So we're on track for color measurement, pass fail, the same as for our colors.
Right.
So that's amazing. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
So if you want to know more about white, please contact support@natific in the email below. And just like to say thank you for joining us, and goodbye, and see you next time.
Thank you.